My name is Ashley Niels. I'm the behavior team supervisor, and I've worked at the Austin Animal Center for just over 8 years. During that time, I've been under 6 different chiefs and have experienced more than my fair share of heartbreak. But never have I worked in such a toxic work environment as I do now.
This management team has created a culture of fear, and for years it has worked. But based on the room tonight and those outside, some extremely brave people have decided to stand up.
The leadership of Austin Animal Center right now do not lead by example and have created a hostile and difficult space for volunteers and staff.
This is the toxic environment this management team has created in a job that is already emotionally demanding. The actions or lack thereof from this leadership team have resulted in the departure of vital employees, experienced volunteers, and worst of all, have been harmful to the animals that AAC is supposed to take care of.
Because it's really hard to keep giving so much time, effort, and energy to a place where senior management treats you with disdain and contempt.
It is common practice for Dawn and others on leadership to disparage our rescue partners, our nasty volunteers, and any staff who dares to speak out about anything.
The missing piece to this puzzle is how leadership at AAC has created a cesspool for retaliation, gossip, unethical conduct towards staff and volunteers. The second I finish speaking to you, I will immediately begin running through the dogs I am most attached to now, terrified of what management will do to them to retaliate against me for speaking. And every volunteer speaking tonight faces the potential to be fired.
I have witnessed a steady decline in animal care and shelter operations since the current management was put into place. The reason for this decline is a consistent lack of accountability and ownership. No one from the management team will roll up their sleeves and say, I take responsibility and I will fix it.
We should be working together. Management should be working with all of their stakeholders. But instead, stakeholders are dismissed, ignored, and threatened with firing. We've long stayed silent for fear that the dogs we love would be left without their advocates. But staying silent has just led to increased harm.
The shelter has been on a dangerous downward spiral since Dawn was hired, and cries for help have been largely ignored.
I would like an explanation from City Hall as to why the alarming data, red flags, and cries for help given over and over in the listening to the workforce surveys and exit interviews have been ignored. They have allowed this toxic environment to fester for far too long, and AAC staff deserves better.
This is a regressive leadership team that has gotten away with countless misdeeds for far too long. It's time that they're held accountable for the toxic environment they've created.
But trying to change things from the inside has been entirely ineffective, and we are out of time.
Something has to change. I am sure management can give you a dozen reasons these problems exist, but it is their job to figure out and try to find innovative ways to fix these problems. The question is, can this management rise to the challenge? So far, they have not.
Until there is an overhaul of the current management team, the shelter will be overcrowded, adoptable animals will suffer and be euthanized, and staff and volunteers will continue to leave due to the toxic and unsupportive environment.
I was at the meet and greet for the two candidates for the current director position. After the Q&A, there was a noticeable air of disbelief in the room that these were our choices. Then someone in the audience said what we were all thinking when City Manager Cronk asked for feedback. She said, these are our choices, can we start over? And now, here we are.
The onus is now on you, this commission, as well as on our elected leaders, the mayor and city council, to acknowledge the utter disaster that AAC has become. As the saying goes, if you're not angry, it's because you're not paying attention.
So please, I'm asking you to stand up for us and to stand up with us to help us reclaim our shelter.
Therefore, be it resolved that the Austin Animal Advisory Commission does not have confidence that Austin Animal Center leadership has or will demonstrate that it can achieve and sustain the council-mandated goals of Austin's no-kill policy or provide the services the taxpayers should receive from their municipal shelter.